Lutfur Rahman is the mayor for Tower Hamlets and leader of the Aspire party. He's standing for re-election in May, with Aspire having all of their seats up for grabs in all-out elections at the same time. Earlier today, I spoke to Mayor Rahman about his record in recent years and what's next if he is indeed re-elected early next month. Lutfur Rahman, welcome back to the Novara Media Studio.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be back with you 4 years down the line. How time just flies so quickly. Thank you for inviting us.
It has flown by. We did have you on 4 years ago. You were standing to be elected as the mayor of Tower Hamlets for a third time.
Yeah.
After an incredible history. If people want to know more about that, they're welcome to watch that interview. You're standing again for election in May. Sure. You lead a party called Aspire. They're standing candidates for the council in Tower Hamlets at the same time. Of course, London has all outs on May 7th. Tell me a little bit about the last 4 years, just generally. We'll talk about policy in a minute, what you've delivered. What's it been like? Because you had a very tough time, it's fair to say, before that.
Well, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure, absolute honor to serve the people of this borough. And for us, what we promise, we will make sure we deliver. That's what people want to know. If you can't deliver, you haven't delivered, be honest with the people. And I've done that. That's what we've done. So it's been great. It's been exhilarating. We've had some challenging moments. There's always challenging moments in life, and especially in politics. But on the whole, I believe it's been fulfilling.
So recently, before we talk about your record over the last 4 years, which I have to say is impressive.
Thank you.
And I think people would struggle to say otherwise, whether or not they agree with you. Speaking to the Times newspaper over the weekend, Wes Streeting, Labour Party minister, obviously, government minister, described Tower Hamlets as a, quote, rotten borough. What do you think he meant by that?
It's sad, it's disappointing. We are a borough of 340,000 people. We do every year, we do resident survey. We did a resident survey just last summer, autumn. 90% of the people of our borough say they get on with each other. Where, like any other constituency in the country, where our people are very proud of where they live, where they work, where they do business. And what we've delivered over the last 4 years, it's been outstanding, as you have said. Some other boroughs in the country haven't even thought about it. We have delivered it. So it's sad, it's disappointing what Mr. Streeting has said. What I will say to him, come and visit us, please. Come to our town hall. We can take you around the borough, talk to people, and you will see we are a fantastic borough, we're a high-performing borough, and people of this borough get on with each other, and they are proud to live, work, and visit our borough. Look, we've got the Canary Wharf in our borough. We've got the Tower of London in our borough. We've got the City Fringe in our borough. We have the Columbia Road in our borough, the Whitechapel Market in our borough. We've got fantastic markets, about 6 markets in the borough. We've got business districts in the borough. We've got one of the youngest borough population anywhere in the country. And we've invested so much money, some £250 million during the 6 years of our, I will say, financial tenure, additional money to improve the lives of our residents. People of the borough get on. They're happy with what we have done. Please, before anyone makes a statement, if you don't live in the borough, come and visit us, talk to us, and come and talk to the people of the borough.
So is that an invitation to Wes Streeting?
Invitation to Wes and to others who have any preconceived views about us, come and talk to us. Come and see who we are. We are a leading, high-performing local authority in the country.
Yeah, Wes Streeting. The invitation's there. It's not far, is it, from where he is? It's very nearby.
15, 20 minutes drive.
But I want to just probe this question. Yeah. What do you think he meant? I mean, rotten borough is, of course, a term from before the Great Reform Act 1832, before the democratic era. I presume he hasn't said something else because he doesn't want to libel you. He doesn't want to say something specific because it might be inaccurate. He's using really a very ambiguous term. When he uses that word rotten borough, what do you think he's referring to? Because it's not clear to me.
I mean, I can't get into his mind. However, Wes Streeting does have a strong opposition in his part of the world. He only won by a slender majority at the last general election. I believe in this local election, there are opposition, there are independent parties. So, him and his Labour group have a challenge in that part of the world. But to refer to us, to talk about us or any other borough, I think is unsavory. I think it's very judgmental. We are a borough, very outstanding. Our children's services received outstanding last year. This year, beginning of the year, we received good for adult social care. We're investing so much money into our services. What I say to Mr. Streeting, come and talk to us. Come and listen to us. If you have any issue, any views about us, you are minister, you are in the cabinet. Come and talk to us. We will air them out. We can clarify some of the issues that you may have with us. But to put us in that category as a local authority, I think it's very unfair. It's unjust. Listen, we're doing well when it comes to finances. We put money back in reserves, yet we're investing money in frontline services. We're protecting our frontline services. We're protecting our frontline workers. We are a truly progressive socialist party. We have been fighting the cost of living crisis over the last 4 years. We were the ones, when the government took out the winter fuel allowance, and I'm glad they reintroduced it because of the backlash. We were the ones stepped in hamlets and brought in a winter fuel allowance, gave money, supported our pensioners. Some 4,000 pensioners were supported. So we're the ones who have delivered progressive policies where other Labour councils or other councils in the country have cut them. We're not the one who have gone out in a begging bowl to the government to help us financially. We've got what we're entitled to in accordance with the formula. So what I say to Mr. Streeting, once again, I don't know what your motive is to bring in us into your internal debates in your borough, but please, before you make a comment of that kind on any other borough, any other local authority, just think about what they will feel. Think about the pain it inflicts on them, especially when they are a high-performing council. So once again, come and talk to us. Let's take you out, walk you around. Let's go to Kenilworth. Let's go to Brick Lane. Go and look at the curry industry in Brick Lane in Bangla Town. Let's take you to Columbia Road, Roman Road, Whitechapel Road, and meet the real people of the borough and see what true judgment you will have of us.
Get some nice grilled meat at Tyab's. One of the best places to eat in London.
And Brick Lane, Bangla Town.
Yeah. So you're talking about high performance. Let's talk about your record in the last 4 years.
Sure.
Because it is really impressive. You've delivered affordable homes by the thousand, 6,441 delivered or in delivery by this month. Beginning to invest over 600 million to improve the quality of existing council properties. So on housing, that's pretty special. But then there are other places where actually even that sort of pales into, not insignificance, but you're very much a national leader. So on things like universal free school meals for all primary and secondary schools, you're the first council to do that. You re-established EMA, Educational Maintenance Allowance, that was scrapped, of course, by the Lib Dems and Tories in 2010. You've got university bursaries. You did winter fuel payments, you just mentioned that, which of course was cut by Labour. The first council in the country to provide universal school uniform grants for low-income families. You've opened 20 new youth centres across the borough, including the first youth centre dedicated to girls. You've brought in a house with leisure centres. They're no longer being run by private firms. You've introduced free swimming for families, for all women aged 16 plus, men aged 35 plus. That's a really long list of things. Sure. And you know what? There are lots of Labour councillors out there, Labour MPs, even some like West Streeting, might agree in theory with many of those policies. How are you in Tower Hamlets able to afford to do that? What's the secret sauce?
Well, first of all, we have to be on the side of the people of the borough. They are the residents, the 340,000 people who live in the borough. We have to extend our policy to support each and every one of them. Obviously, resources It's not infinite, it's limited. So you've got to reprovision, you've got to be careful how you spend your money. But what I want to say, thank you for going through the list. Some of those policies are country first. So obviously the free school meals, both primary and secondary school, the only borough in the country, the free school uniform grant, only borough in the country. The investment, the £13.7 million additional money into our youth services, a youth centre in every ward. So we want our kids not only to do well in education, go to the best universities in the country, do well and have good life chances, but we want to make sure that there are adequate after-school weekend provisions where they can have some social activities, talk to their peers, or do their homework, whatever it is. So, and we've created more jobs, 75 additional youth workers, where I would say where we are a leading council in the country when it comes to tackling and head on the austerity, the cost of living crisis, but putting money into people's pocket. If a family has 3 children going to primary and secondary school, they will benefit per year to the tune of £1,650. That's money going back into the pocket. We've got to help people who are on low income, especially when it comes to free school meals, universal. Every single parent gets that support. Where do we get that money from? We are a council, we are, of every single penny, we are realistic, we are constructive. We have been using our money constructively, we have been using our money prudently, and of course, we are a borough with one of the highest child poverty in the country. We are very diverse, our profile is very diverse. So when it comes to grants, government grants, we get our fair share of government grants. It's not a gift from government. It's according to need, according to your profile of your population, we get that money. And we are also a local authority where we have one of the highest volume of planning applications in the country. A small borough, but we get so many developers who want to build in our borough. From buildings, from development, we get our share of Section 106s, we get our share of homes, and we get our share of what's called SIL money, i.e. money to do infrastructure projects, money to spend on various activities. So we're fortunate as a local authority when it comes to developers. What we do is this: we use our money wisely, we reprovision services, and spend money where it's most needed. And some of the policies that we have delivered over the last 4 years, we believe, and that's why I promised in my manifesto in 2022. So if we come to power, this is what we're going to deliver. And believe me, we delivered. And not only did we use that money, some £250 million additional money we invested in the community on top of the statutory services, but we've also put money back in reserve. So we have a healthy reserve and we've invested in community and frontline services.
And you've got quite low council tax, just to be clear.
We are the 6th lowest council tax in the country. And let me tell you what we've done on that. So my pledge was that we will freeze council tax for the poorest in our community. Yeah. And for us, the officers advised us that it can't be an infinite pot, it has to be a limited pot, that those who are earning, the household income is less than £50,350, for them, we won't increase the council tax. They can put in an application, the council tax will be frozen. For those who are on benefits, very low income, they don't pay any council tax at all. Yeah. So in the first year, we froze it for everyone because we are in the height of the cost of living crisis. And in the second, third, fourth year, we went back to our manifesto and said, look, it's only going to be for those on low income. Below that threshold, we froze it for them. We want to support and help people who are on the poverty trap. Their income isn't that high to lead a comfortable life, nor is their income so low to get benefits. We want to help them too.
The squeeze middle.
Absolutely, the squeeze middle.
So somebody listening to this, hearing you for the first time, even from the right, might say, that's really interesting. You've got socialist, social democratic policies, putting working families first, but it's the result of a successful capitalist model, development model, just by virtue of geography. You're in London. Okay, not everywhere in the country can do that, But most London boroughs can do that. So I've got a question really. How come in Tower Hamlets you can do all this stuff, but we're not seeing the same in places like Islington? We're not seeing the same in Hackney. What separates you from them? Because you talk about
Sure.
seal funding and developers loving where you are, but that's
business rates. We get a fair share of business rates. So do other boroughs in
Yeah.
the borough in the country. I will say, I mean, for me and for us, Aaron, is that having that vision, having the motivation and the commitment to do the best for the people of the borough. I am so grateful and I'm honored, privileged that I've been elected and that's why I've been given a majority to serve them on the 5th of May 2022. They gave us a mandate. We promised them, give us a chance, give me an opportunity. These are the policies that we will deliver for you. And we've delivered. For me, I believe we can be in a world, you can live and let live. You can work with capitalism, but yet have socialist, progressive policies where the wealth truly is redistributed and also benefits the people of the borough who've elected you, people of the country. So I believe other boroughs, of course, if there's a will, there's a way. We have the will and we've found the way to deliver for the people of the borough. And we've got good officers in the council, fantastic officers who bought into our manifesto, which were transformed into the strategic plan for the council. And we came together, the executive and the officer corps, to deliver together for the people of this borough. And I'm grateful to them because if they didn't support us, the officers, if they didn't deliver, I couldn't have delivered all those policies.
You keep on saying this word delivery.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you clearly have delivered a lot of this
Yeah.
stuff here and a lot of stuff in your
Yeah.
last manifesto, but it's not a word we associate with local
Yeah.
government. And most of the time when I speak to people in local government, whether that's council chief execs, which is quite rarely, or councillors, or even just people in the know, they'll say the councillors aren't very good, but very often, and this is less frequently highlighted in the media, the council officers aren't very good, which is to say the council civil service are not very effective at delivering stuff. Is the calibre of council officers in the UK not what it should be? And why is Tower Hamlets different? Have you been appointing certain people, or is this a long process over 10, 20 years you've managed to work out who's effective?
Sure. I mean, we've got good officers, we've got a good senior management team and officers who are frontline services and the middle ranking managers. They're very good. Hands on heart, they're very good, but they got to believe in what you want to do. They got to believe in your vision, your ambition to transform the lives of your residents, transform your community. They're going to believe in that. I believe they have been bought into what we want to do. We're here to transform the borough. I have no other interest to serve the people of the borough. I have no other interest to deliver on the promises that we made. It's no good making promises, then you come back and you do U-turns. You come back and say, no, the money isn't there, I'm not going to do it. You must have fully costed policies in the first place, ideas, pledges that you can deliver. And we've been very fortunate that officers bought into what we said, promised, but they were realistic. They were life-changing. They weren't vanity projects. They were projects to help the youngsters get into the best universities, to build more homes than anywhere else in the country. Enough. This term, for over 4 years, we would have delivered over 6,400 homes. Our next term, we will deliver more homes, another 6,000 homes. During the 8 years of our tenure, hopefully we will deliver 12,000 homes for rent, both affordable and social homes. And large number of them would be family-sized homes. So we need to get rid of people from the waiting list. We need to reduce the overcrowding in the borough. It breaks my heart. It pains me when I see a family of 7 in 2-bedroom, when I see a family of 5 in 1-bedroom, Aaron. Overcrowding is a serious issue in the borough. Overcrowding holds back our children from doing more better in education. It contributes to health inequality by investing and delivering and building more homes in partnership with the housing associations and with the developers and council homes. We are beginning to make that dent and reduce the overcrowding in the borough. So look at the leisure services. The leisure services, when we came in, was outsourced. Outsourced. Not many boroughs in the country, they have an insourced leisure services. We insourced it. We insourced it. Why? So we can set the program. We can decide what kind of money we want to invest and deliver a leisure service fit for people. What have we done? We put aside £40 million over the next 10 years to upgrade, modernize our leisure services. We introduced free swimming for girls and women, young women from the age of 16 and onwards. For men now, from the age of 35, there's free swimming. Some 20,000 people have registered for free swimming. We need more capacity. And for that, we're building a new state-of-the-art leisure centre in St. George's in Shadwell. We're demolishing it. Already contracts gone out, demolishing it, rebuilding 2 swimming pools. Other boroughs in the country, we're closing swimming pools. We're building a new state-of-the-art leisure centre, 2 swimming pools, spa facility, gym facility, and on the site, 30 council homes, 5 bedrooms too. Another leisure centre in Whitechapel, just behind Whitechapel Station, is called the Whitechapel Sports Centre. We have set aside £2.3 million. We're out to a feasibility study that we want to demolish and deliver another leisure centre, swimming pool, spa facility, gym facility, and more council homes on the site. The famous year called, you may recall that, where boxing and wrestling used to go on, and still boxing does still go on. We modernized the spa facility, put money in, and this price is very competitive compared to some of the private spa facilities. State-of-the-art, modern, it's in a fantastic building, and it's gorgeous. So for us, we want to help and support the people of the borough. We just introduced free family swimming for young kids, very young kids, toddlers, etc. The parents can go in with those kids, free swimming, and also SEND provision. So kids who have special needs, they can go in there with their parents and have a free swim too. So we're doing our best to support, work with, and to transform the lives of the people of the borough.
So the policy experts call this double poverty, right? They say that you have people who are below a certain threshold with regards to the earnings. Often they're not homeowners, but also they don't have access to social infrastructure. What you're doing, it sounds to me, is you're really just taking on that second form of poverty, which is a lack of access to social infrastructure. A youth club in every ward, what you said about swimming, these are really innovative policies. Does Labour not do this stuff in London, bringing leisure centres back in-house? Does Labour not do this stuff in London because it just has taken its voters for granted? Where's the thinking from Labour in London, and why isn't it more ambitious? Because, the party has a real history of ambition in the capital, from Herbert Morrison all the way through to Ken Livingstone. So what's happened to that?
It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate what some of our Labour colleagues have done across the country and across London. I'll give you timeless as examples. I like talking about my borough, which I know more than any other borough. In timeless, 7 years, Labour were in power when I left in 2015. For 7 years, some of these policies, it was already in when I left previously. I had already introduced it. The university bursary, the education maintenance allowance. They were the youth service, the expanded youth service. They were already operational, already delivering for the people of the borough for the 5-6 years I was in power previously. Sadly, they had cut those provisions to the bone, and they put money in reserve. And that I find it quite shocking.
Well, why were they doing that?
Why? Well, I don't know. Maybe a philosophical thing. Maybe they've moved away from their true socialist values. the reason why the party was set up in those early days is to support the very people, is to redistribute wealth, is to redistribute income, to make sure that the average people in the country feel the benefit of a Labour government, yeah, a socialist, progressive, democratic government, socially democratic government. And when I came in 2022, or even before then, when I saw the youth services were cut to its bone, when I saw that free school meals were cut, when I saw that home care were cut, our elders have contributed so much to creating what Hamlets is now, and not to support them in their old age when they need support and to charge them for care in the home. I think it's very terrible, it was disgraceful. And we had a huge opportunity to support our elders, to take that money away, take that support away. Something else, Meals on Wheels. When we were in power previously, we used to provide a hot meal a day to the most needy, the unwell, infirm in the borough. They cut that. We came in, we said, no. I said it in my manifesto, no, we've got to bring back Meals on Wheels. There are people who are not getting one hot meal a day. The elderly, the unwell, the infirm. Let's support them.
But we're sort of depicting Labour here as like cartoonishly evil almost, because they could do all of this stuff and they chose not to. And to be clear, the authority's solvent. You're not bankrupting Tower Hamlets doing all the stuff. So I don't know where the money was going. You're saying it went into reserve.
It went to reserve.
But why? Was it because auditors were saying they need to do that, or?
Talk about auditors. They left behind, the former administration, Labour administration, left behind 6 years of unsigned accounts. Never heard of. I ran a business as a solicitor. Every year I had to return audit accounts, I had to pay my tax, pay the VAT. 6 years of accounts from 2016, I left in 2015, from 2016 until 2022, under the previous Labour administration, 6 years of accounts weren't returned. We had to come in and sort it out at a cost of some £3.5 million.
So this is unpaid VAT
and one unpaid VAT for £1 million. We had to pay it back. Annual governance statements, 5 years annual governance statements. Every council once a year have to say and testify if your governance is okay. They didn't do that for 5 years. It's shocking. So I don't know what went through their head to cut back services when they didn't need to cut back services. The money was there. Then they put the money in the bank when people were going hungry, when services were being cut, closing a swimming pool. St. George's swimming pool were closed under Labour. And I'm demolishing, rebuilding. It's a very old, run-down leisure centre, building a new one. So I just don't know why, whether it's philosophical, whether it's political, I don't know why. For me, as a mayor, as a resident of Tower Hamlets, delivering progressive, life-changing policies that can be affordable, by the way, it's so important. And our budget was fully costed. Our budget has always been balanced since we've been in power, and we have delivered on the promises that we said we will deliver for the people of this borough, and more, and more.
I'm going to have to make a documentary about Tower Hamlets, I think, because...
Please do.
Because a lot of people on the centre right, the centre left, will be saying, how is this even possible? And like you say, you're running balanced budgets.
Yeah.
You have low council tax. This is not, spending money that you don't have. How do you think Labour are going to do in the local elections in London?
Well, I am in my borough, Aspire, my councillor candidates and I were running to win. We want to win. We want to continue the delivery and the life-changing policies for the people of the borough. So, and I hope and I plea to people who are listening and looking at your show that please support us. So we will continue to deliver for you. As to other parts of London, there have been a number of pundits, a number of well-known opinion polls have come out and said that Labour will take a drubbing in London on the 7th of May. I mean, I believe they won't fare very well because of the disconnect between the people, the national government, and in some places local government, because of some of the U-turns they've done in national government, and in a city borough like ours, I will say also because of their involvement, I will say, and their refusal to accept that Israel committed genocide in Gaza. I believe that will play out in a number of boroughs across London, and it will have an impact on how many seats they get across the capital.
But you knock on lots of people's doors. You're a savvy political operator. You've been elected,
Sure.
a lot, basically, both as a Labour representative, It should be said, and as an independent and with Aspire. Do you think the polls are overstating Labour's collapse? Do you think ultimately they do have lots of voters who will come out, so they're clearly going to lose some wards and they're going to lose some councillors, they're going to lose some votes? Do you think that's being overstated? Or is it being understated? What's your read on London generally? Because you said pundits and polls. You're somebody whose opinion on this stuff I actually take seriously.
Sure. I mean, I don't know would the opinions polls would get it 100% right, Aaron. But I mean, a lot of the times they're not far from it. But I believe looking at the national picture over the last 2 years, looking at what's happening now in some of the, I don't know, without naming people, and the connection between our Prime Minister and the appointment of that person as the ambassador of America, and the other issues that went on over the last 2 years, I believe, Labour are not in a very good position. As to whether it would be a total collapse, it's difficult to say. They are a national party. They do have an infrastructure, and they've been around for a very long time. But they should be in a very good position mid-term. They've been in a very good position when they've been in power for 2 years with such a huge majority than they are in the opinion polls nationally now. And I think a lot of that will play out in local government. In time, that certainly, the history, the 7 years when they were in power, what they failed to deliver, what they did in terms of the pain, the austerity, and the cuts that Labour lot inflicted in time, that people haven't forgotten. And then we came along and we were able to show that you can spend money wisely, you can have a healthy reserve, but yet invest money in frontline services for the benefit of the people.
So we talked about the accomplishments of the last 4 years. You've obviously got a manifesto out now as well. A lot of the things I presume you want to do generally, you have done in 4 years. It's a bit like Labour in 1945. They're only in charge for 6 years, going up to 51, but they did arguably more than some Labour PMs like Wilson did over 14 years. They did a lot in a very short period of time. I think the same is true for you as well. You do, however, have some new policies. One is free travel pass for students for their first year of university or higher education from low-income families. You also have another policy about a pregnancy payment, but I want to start on this one with students. So what's the thinking there? A free travel pass for an undergraduate in their first year at university?
Sure. For me and for us, I went to university. I knew and I've experienced the struggles my parents went through. I had to travel out to university, and the money I had to pay for underground costs, for train and bus fares. We want to support our parents. We want to support our youngsters. We want to create an educated class, support creating an educated class in Timeless. Having one child who goes to university or good, vocational job, getting a good job, transforms the life chances of that family. Okay? So, and money shouldn't be a barrier to good education. So we've supported as much as we can our youngsters, our pupils, our students, with some of the policies. That's the foundation. We have laid the foundation in the first 4 years of our 2 terms this time round. We want to build on that, continue the progressive policies. So a free travel pass for those families who are on low income, below a certain threshold. I mean, currently our threshold is 50,350. We're going to look into that, whether we need to increase the threshold, benefit more youngsters, support those youngsters in the first year of university during the academic term with their travel passes. Because monthly travel cost is a lot. Yeah, help them to settle in, help them to just get used to going to university. Hopefully, they will get in the second, third year, they'll be able to get a part-time job like my son does. He's going to university. First year, we supported him. We're still supporting him now. However, in the second year, he got a job and he's financing his own travel costs to support our youngsters through that difficult period when they've transformed from school to university at the age of 18, and support as many youngsters as possible. We'll be the only borough in the country to deliver free travel pass to those kids who need it most.
I think that's such a great policy because, like you say, that moment of 18 to 19, you've got the student overdraft, you've got money in your bank you probably never had before, you've got autonomy and independence now. Some kids thrive in that, but some kids struggle, and you're really giving them a helping hand with a big cost. So I presume that's being done with TfL. That would be buses, underground. Would it be a national rail pass, or is it just
absolutely? No, it'll be
within London.
Within London. I wish we had the money to do something much more ambitious, but it's going to be too costly. So it's going to be affordable, and we've costed all our ideas, all our policies, and manifesto pledges. So it's going to be within London, and obviously we'll, in consultation with the officers, advice from officers, we will deliver that policy. Something else you'll be very pleased with, when a mother gives birth to a child, that's the most beautiful occasion in that mother's life and the parent's lifetime. I've got 2 beautiful children. My daughter has 2 children, my 2 grandchildren. My granddaughter is 20 months. My grandson is 8 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a wonderful experience for the parents, for the grandchildren. We want to support those parents, especially those whose household income is quite low, with a pregnancy payment. We'll be the second authority in the country. So we want to support our parents, that new child, welcome the new child into the world with a grant, a financial support. I wish we could do more, but just supporting that parent, supporting that child, and welcoming the child to the world, with the payment, I believe it will go a long way in supporting that family in the early years of that child's life.
So how much money would that be roughly, do you think?
We will work that out. I know the other authority supports them in the tune of £500 per child. We're going to work out the logistics, but it's going to be something that has to be affordable, that has to also make a reasonable contribution to that child's early days.
It's a bit like what I said with regards to the subsidised bus and rail travel for undergraduates. It's one of these weird moments. I say this to somebody now with a 2.5-year-old daughter. You have the child, obviously you're prepared for it, but once they've arrived, when people send you a £50 voucher to do a Waitrose shop or a Tesco shop or Just Eat or whatever, you think, well, that's so useful.
It is.
Any assistance is so useful. And it's this really critical moment in our lives and that kid's life. And yet the state does remarkably little, doesn't it?
Sure.
Like in Finland, you get quite a lot.
Sure. I mean, at that time, believe me, any help you can get, financial help you can get, it's a lot of money. So, but more importantly, is welcoming that child into the world. Saying, look, you are valued, you are respected. We want you to go and have a fantastic life. This is our small appreciation to the parents. That's important to us. Something else we're going to do. I don't want to go for the full list. That we want to laptops. We have a borough, child poverty is very high. We've got borough where many people who are not in job, who are on benefits, we want to support them as much as we can. So we want to give a free laptop to a family. So we are in a digital world. The council, many of the services is digitalized. You can only sometimes contact us digitally. Not all families have a laptop. Yep. We want to support them by giving a family, again, those parents who are low income, a free laptop. One-off laptop, we want to give them, support them to becoming digitally savvy, support them in accessing council services and making sure, helping them and supporting them to making sure they have a instrument at home to contact us when they want to contact us.
The way you talk about young people
Yeah.
and the importance of education,
Sure.
it's very aspirational.
Sure.
And it's not actually something I find very often from centre-left politicians in this country. Where Blair would talk about aspiration, it was about, a bigger house or a nicer car or a new washing machine. But you're talking in a way that I recognise because I'm half Iranian, and this is a very sloppy way maybe to say it, because obviously many white British people feel the same way, but it's almost an immigrant view of education as this path to improving your life. That's something we've lost as a culture, isn't it? This idea that education can transform your surroundings.
Education does and continues to transform your surrounding. Yeah. For me, I'm the living embodiment of a good education. The schooling of this country, the education of this country gave me and my family a better life chance. Wasn't for a law degree, wasn't for becoming a trained solicitor. I don't believe my life chances would have been improved. And I'm not saying people who are in business, who are in training, who are doing vocational courses, not doing well. Of course they do well. I know good number of good businessmen who haven't really necessarily got good education, fantastic degrees, and Richard Branson is one of them, who are multimillionaires, who've done very good. But I think on the whole, to transform society, get it going, and improve the life chances of people en masse, I believe education is the way forward. So for us investing, of course we're investing in young people, we're investing in people's health, investing in community safety, we're investing in homes. But the basic, I believe, end of the day, is good education. For me, education is fundamental in transforming the life chances, giving better life chances to our people in the borough, every single one of them.
That's one place, at least, where you agree with Tony Blair on the triple importance of education. Lutfur Rahman, thanks for joining us, and good luck in May.
Thank you for inviting me once again. Thank you to your viewers and to the people of the borough. I wish them all the best.